superhumans, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is René and I'm dedicated to all things self-mastery. In today's video, I wanted to discuss tips and tricks that you can use to help you express yourself better. I'm definitely not an expert orator, but I do think that there are some things that I've done in the last few months and years that have helped me to more succinctly express myself and have helped me to be a little bit more eloquent when I do so. So if you're interested in this, then please keep watching. The first thing is to learn a new word every day. There are wonderful websites and apps that can help you with this. I personally use a website called Merriam-Webster or the dictionary. I'm sure everybody knows that. And you just subscribe to the service and you get a new email in your inbox every day with a word that you may or may not know. And I supplement this with Word of the Day. It's an app on my phone, and between the two of them, I definitely learn at least one new word a day. But it doesn't stop just at writing the word down. You have to read the word, read the definition, apply it in everyday language, whether you're using it through text or with somebody that you're speaking to. The more often you use it during that day and for the consequent days thereafter, the more likely you are to actually retain the information. This is a wonderful thing that I've been doing for the last couple of years, and I think it's definitely helped me to expand my vocabulary. And please don't worry about being embarrassed about speaking to people. For every one person that says, why do you always have to use big words? And like, every time I speak to you, I have to use a dictionary, and we're just having a normal conversation here. For every one person that says that, there'll be 10 people that say, I love speaking to you because every time I do, I expand my vocabulary. Our conversation is so interesting and it's really exciting. So for every one person that says something negative, there'll be 10 people that say something positive. So don't worry about them anyway. You're on your way to writing your first book. The second thing is to read. This is an obvious one, but I've really noticed that if I read between 10 to 15 pages a day, the manner in which I speak really improves. I stop saying and like, and I start to be a little bit more direct and distinctive and expressive with the way that I speak, and this makes me feel a little bit more confident, especially if I'm speaking to people that are higher up in ranks in the work that I do, or who are extremely intelligent and express themselves very well. And what's interesting is I've noticed that with the kind of book that I read, my style of speaking changes to accommodate the book that I'm reading at that point in time. So if I'm reading something scientific and technical, I speak in a very matter-of-fact way with little emotion. Whereas if I'm reading something that's a little bit more about love and on the spiritual side and softer around the edges, then I tend to be more emotive in my expression as well, which is kind of interesting. And if you haven't noticed this yet, then I don't think you're reading enough. Reading is the gateway to opening your imagination to wonderful things. So read, and it will also help you to express yourself better. The third thing is to write every day. Now, this is something that actually I didn't start doing until very recently. I was very frightened when I realized that I hadn't actually put pen to paper in what had been like a couple of weeks. We're so used to this digital age where we're typing on the computer or typing on our phones, and we don't actually put pen to paper enough. But there's a very magical thing that happens when we put a pen to a real piece of paper, and it's something that can't be replicated on a mobile device. So if you just wake up every morning and you empty your thoughts out, not only is it good for clearing your inner state, but it's also really powerful for helping you express yourself more. It doesn't have to be cogent, it doesn't have to be about a specific topic, but you can actually adopt a certain character while you're writing and express something from that point of view. And it's just helped me to use more adjectives with the way that I describe things. We tend to use a very limited set of adjectives to describe the way that we feel, and that also limits us in terms of the scope of emotions that we sense. So if you try to describe your emotions with a vaster array of adjectives, you'll actually start to experience a vaster array of emotions in the first place. It's a positive reinforcing loop. So ever since I've started to write about a page a day before I start my day, it really helps me to experience a wider range of feeling, and I feel a little bit more alive. And also my English has improved, and the way that I speak, I think, has become overall a little bit more interesting. The next thing that I would recommend to do is to use more figurative and idiomatic language when you speak. So all of those lessons that you learned in primary school and in high school can come back to use here. I use the idioms that are cliche that everybody uses because those are often the most entertaining and they can be very comedic, but sometimes it's also quite funny if you use the idioms that you made up on your own. So for example, instead of saying I'm turning over a new leaf, I could say I'm revealing a new tree. And this is a little bit wild, but it works. So it definitely adds a little bit more color to the conversation, and it keeps people interested, and they know that they're always going to get something different when they speak to you. And people in general use the same 100 words or so to express themselves. So as soon as you start to throw a little bit more in there, people definitely start enjoying their conversations with you more. So I would highly recommend using more figurative language, especially more idioms. The next thing that I would recommend is to use more quotations when you speak. When I was younger, I used to learn a new quote every day in the same way that I would learn a new word, and I would find a way to apply the quote, whether it was that day or that week, obviously in a way where it really fits. And one of the best ways that I would implement them is when I was offering advice to people on something that they were struggling with. Not only do quotes inspire me on a personal level, but they also help me to be more succinct and impactful when I speak. So if you link powerful quotes together and then kind of discuss the quote for a few minutes in between, it is a great way to structure conversation and to really let concepts resonate with people. I would highly recommend learning a new quote every day. Use it in a relevant way so you can add more dynamics to your conversation. There you have it. Those are 5 tips and tricks that I use to improve my vocabulary and to help me express myself more eloquently on a daily basis. I hope that you'll find these things useful. I hope that there is something here for you to take away. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. The next thing to do is to start using a little bit more word of the day. It's called word of the day.